The following is an Outdoor Channel original production.
The Ocilla River, wild and beautiful. It flows into the Gulf of Mexico and is home to a crazy mixture of wildlife. Freshwater and saltwater fish thrive here, as well as large predators. Every river has its own unique population of alligators. And with every encounter, I learned something new. I am Manipuig. I have spent my whole life learning to survive like Tarzan in the most dangerous and primitive wilderness, where you can be killed or eaten. I have learned the ways of giant man-eating predators, deadly sharks, and reptiles, where every encounter may spell disaster in the savage wild. This is the Ocilla River, one of the wildest rivers in Florida. It empties into the Gulf of Mexico and extremely affected by the tides. And because of that, the wildlife in here is incredible. It's full of saltwater fish in here, freshwater fish. You have sharks, you have alligators, you have all kinds of freshwater and saltwater species.
The Ocilla is one of those rivers that for a diver can be pretty intimidating. It's one of my favorite places to dive, but if you're not careful, you can find yourself in a cave that you didn't know was there. The bottom of this river is full of karst formations, these limestone formations that have been hollowed out over thousands of years. And in these formations, sometimes you find big fish, sometimes you find giant alligators. You never know what's going to be waiting for you on the bottom. So as soon as you leave the boat, you hope for the best, but you never know what you're going to expect. Another thing that's awesome about this river is its wildlife on the banks. You're constantly seeing wild boar, you're constantly seeing big rattlesnakes, birds of prey like ospreys and eagles, owls, red-shouldered hawks. This is one of those places where as soon as you're here, you feel like you've gone back in time. It's old Florida the way it used to be, and it still has it.
The air temperature is 47 degrees and the water is about 70, but I'm not really a cold weather type of individual. I like it medium.
Can you make sure that my flap?
I sure will.
Is the flap right?
Yep.
Okay.
Everybody thinks Florida is hot and humid, but in the winter, it gets really cold here. It gets freezing, and it's got that humid cold that goes right into your bones. Another thing is, the alligator, people understand they can handle a lot of cold weather, not like the crocodile. Crocodile cannot stand this weather, but the alligator is hardy. He's thriving in this temperature right now.
Everything is cold. My gloves are cold. My wetsuit is cold.
This is a lot of fun, but right now, this feels like hard work. Putting on this cold, miserable wetsuit doesn't feel good. This is the kind of day, I could stay in bed all day, As we continue downriver, I keep an eye on the shoreline for any sign of wildlife. And it isn't long before I spot an alligator. He ducks under as we approach. This will be my first encounter with an Ocilla River alligator. It seems like each location has a population of alligators with certain personality traits. And I wonder if these alligators will be aggressive or shy. And there's only one way to find out. The water is cold and murky. alligator will not travel far from where you spot them. They are often just sitting on the bottom waiting. But I see no sign of this alligator, so I keep moving. And then I spot something very exciting to me. This is exactly what makes this river so fascinating. A saltwater fish species perfectly happy miles from the ocean. Those are juvenile mangrove snapper. This fish belongs way out in the Gulf, and they're in here way up in the freshwater. That's a juvenile mangrove snapper. It's incredible. We continue our search for the alligator. I am exploring a fascinating and strange ecosystem. Florida's Ocilla River. It empties directly into the Gulf of Mexico. So it's not only affected by the tides, it is also home to fish and other species that are found miles at sea and on the deep reefs. There is also a healthy population of alligators here, and I wonder how this mix of salt and freshwater affects them. Are they more dangerous? We continue our search for an alligator that dove under near the bank. Visibility is very low, so I will not see the alligator until I am only a few feet away. And these conditions are always dangerous. It makes you wonder if you are the one being stalked. Find an alligator. Not the one we're looking for. This one is much smaller, just over 2 feet long, but very healthy. Yeah, we've seen the first alligator of the day underwater. It's about this big. Nice little guy just sitting right there, motionless. He's getting video on it right now. Okay, so far I've seen little mangrove snapper, juvenile largemouth bass, one baby alligator, and some mullet. That's all I've seen so far. So we're gonna go try another area right now. Maybe when the tide's different, you know, it might be a ton of fish in here. Everything is moving back and forth through here. Quit it. There's an alligator right over there on the bank. Okay, the challenge here is what are the alligators in this area going to do? Do they have dens in here? Do they go to the deeper water? Do they go into the weedy areas? I have no idea what they're going to do. Everywhere I go, alligators do different things in different terrains, different waters. It's always a challenge. I have no idea what's going to happen right now. Yeah. I don't know how aggressive they can be either. This is totally new for me, alligators in this area. I'm in a complete different place. This time, I quickly locate the alligator, resting on the bottom. I can tell this is a very large animal. Get back. Put him out there. Keep your fins out of it. It's right here, show you. Go slow. Are we ready? the alligator is moving, leaving a mud trail behind him that we can easily follow. There he is. He seems wary of us. And before I can approach him, he moves off again. I swim beside him, but as I try to lift him by the shin, he pulls away, giving us a close look at how impressive he is, before disappearing into the murky water. We just had an encounter with a massive alligator here, and he was extremely nervous, you know, moving back and forth everywhere, extremely nervous. Every time I come near him, he would just bolt this way, and mud was just coming everywhere. I mean, I don't know if he had a den in there, then he went over some really rocky bottom and took off over some more deep water over here. I think the saltwater and freshwater mixing over here where he went. I couldn't find him no more. But he was a very strongly built, heavy built, massively built animal. Very powerful built alligator. I am exploring Florida's Ocilla River, and it is proving both challenging and very rewarding. We have encountered both freshwater and saltwater fish, and a massive alligator who seems very shy and anxious. And I wonder if this is typical of the alligators that live in this murky water, where saltwater and freshwater are constantly mixing. Near the shore, the forest has also come alive. We just saw a pack of wild hogs in there. This place is incredible. Not only is there all kinds of wildlife in the river, the forest around here, there's wild hogs, there's deer, there's bear. I bet one thing for sure, every once in a while, one of these wild hogs get taken by an alligator. I bet that happens out here pretty often. It seems to be a high supply of them out here. This is incredible. You got the forest over there, and then these marshes, and it's like this all the way to the Gulf. All these like grasslands out here, intertwined with tidal creeks. This is a beautiful country out here. You know, people don't think that alligators will live in a place like this. They imagine only, you know, inland freshwater lakes. They don't imagine alligators living in brackish or saltwater environments or coastal marshes like this. I spot an alligator resting on the bank, and I decide to see how approachable he is. We slip into the water and make our way slowly to the shore. But when we are only 20 yards away, he sprints into the river. I keep an eye on the alligator as it dives under. There it is, barely visible in a murky mixture of salt and fresh water. I follow the alligator as it cruises along the bottom, before heading up for a quick breath. Quickly locate the alligator again, but it wants nothing to do with me. These alligators are not behaving like the kings of this river. They are very jumpy.
I lost you because I saw him go and then I lost you.
No, you got long things, man. You should have been on top of me.
Were you holding on to him or what?
Yeah, I went with him, man. That wasn't him, but I took off right. He slipped, but I took off right after him. I trailed him. You were 20 feet behind me. again, hoping to find the alligator, when I see something very strange. Like my eyes are playing tricks on me. I see two remoras on a huge boulder that's moving. It's a manatee! And it comes by to say hello and see what all the commotion is about. Manatees are federally protected, and I never touch them. They are curious, gentle creatures and always a joy to encounter.
Look at him, look at him come up to say hello.
The manatee gives us a good looking over. And then it disappears into the murky water. Were you filming the remorse? Did you know that was a manatee?
I started filming the remorse. I don't know what the heck it was. I thought it was a rock.
It's unbelievable. We're down there, and we're looking around, and all of a sudden, there's two remoras, and they're upside down like that. They look like they're on the bottom. And Quentin's like, I know he's filming the remoras. And they go, Quentin, and I'm like, no, it's a giant, it's a manatee. And all of a sudden, it comes up like this. You know, the water's so dark, you can't tell. All of a sudden, the two remoras are on the manatee. So he turns around, and he faces right here, and I'm looking at his eyes. Like that, and then Quentin's over here filming. So right away we jumped in, we saw an alligator. We checked out the alligator. He was between us and the shore. The alligator exploded. Then we turn offshore, and there's a manatee waiting for us right there. This is incredible, man. We just got here. 3 alligators, a manatee. It's really kicking out here. We just seen an alligator dive in the water. Right over there, he's on top of the weeds. So he went in the water, I have no idea. I'm gonna see if I can track him and find him down there. It's always a challenge to do that. Another game. I spot the alligator, a very heavy-bodied animal for a 7-footer. They are definitely eating well here. This time I try a different approach. Gently lifting the alligator by the shoulders, but no way. Saltwater. I can taste it. The surface is all fresh water, and below us is all salt water. And the salt water is warmer. Actually, the alligators are diving into the warm salt water below. That's where it is. Yeah, I tried to do a gentle shoulder lift on him, and he took off with me, and boom, I ran to the bottom. Then at that time, he just exploded the bottom and everything. I don't know exactly what he saw or got, but it was quick. You know, I don't know where he went now. In this section of the river here, look how high the canopy is. This is like, looks like a deep jungle. The vegetation is incredible. Some shallow water coming up ahead. You got like deep holes and shallow. It's rocky. It's very real shallow here. Real shallow. But the forest, it's rich and thick and magnificent. Look at all the mullet. So far, the alligators I've encountered, none of them went into dens. They're all going to deep holes in the river. This river has very deep holes, like 25 feet deep or deeper. But in here, definitely I can tell you there's an alligator den right there. I can just look and know there's a dugout in there. An alligator den can go back 20 feet in there. I mean, you can only go back so far. On some of them, I've been in there with a flashlight before and been in there. This water is so dark though, it'll be very, very hard to see in there. There could be a gator inside that den right now. It could be a 6-foot alligator, or it could be a 12-foot monster in there right now. We have no idea. This section of the Ocilla River is even more mysterious. A dark, tangled world of branches and logs. Schools of mullet swarm around us. And along the bank, spotted gar are everywhere. This is a fantastic underwater adventure. I feel like I am in an alien world. Largemouth bass are also cruising the banks. The fish life here is incredible. There's garfish everywhere, there's mullet everywhere, there's bass, there's everything, the terrain. There's caves down here, there's ledges. And on the edges you got like sunken logs, a bunch of overhanging vegetation. So the cover for the wildlife here is tremendous. And the water is also like dark, eerie, and silty down there. You know, you don't know what you're gonna find around every corner. You know, it looks beautiful up here, but down here, sometimes it looks like a nightmare. Our adventure on the Ocilla River has come to an end. This strange and beautiful place will stay with me for years to come. And my encounter with a massive alligator, who surprised me with how shy he was, will be added to my knowledge of these amazing animals.